Firstly, I'd like to start by congratulating the UCL Enterprise Society for the slick way that you do things. Well done. I'm going to talk about a UCL project that's been trying to build we started off trying to build a social networking site, and it's turned into something that's really an interesting project in innovation management. But the great thing about our site is we've involved a load of people in it, and we must have spent all of £500 on the site, and because we don't pay Joe. Thank you, Joe. What we've got is I don't know if Joe feels insulted by this, you know, Facebook for enterprise, but it's got all the normal sorts of things that you'd have, including video upload, inserting a profile. Because what we've found over the years is the biggest thing you need when you're starting off trying to put together a company is you need partners. That's what you're about here with the UCL Enterprise Society. And is Tim Barnes here? Which was it? That one. Step in, Joe. Don't worry, don't worry. There's a very interesting bug in the system, in Microsoft. I'd like to give you some background to how this developed. Tunde, who was here earlier, is the founder of Skeegle. He's an ex-student of UCL and worked till recently for B-Sky-B. And what he wanted to do was to set up a social networking site to help young entrepreneurs. And what we did was, we wanted to try and do this in a very low-risk way, and therefore what we did was we gathered in people like Joe, other people around UCL, including a lawyer, a top e-commerce lawyer that lectures for us on our courses, and also a part-time PhD student who you may be interested in, who's one of the top system architects in financial services. And together we've put together this site, and we've tested it at UCL and also at LBS with groups of students. And the idea is to let people put up ideas, to control the privacy, and then take that forward into what we call a virtual company, which is just a sort of posh name for a project. The idea being to put a lot of effort into it, but not to risk enormous amounts of money and, you know, your dog and things like this. And recently what we've tried to do, nice picture, isn't it? Is that we're trying to reach out, not just to UCL, but LBS, but to the other universities. So one of the things we're doing is we're working with the Enterprise Society, who've been enormously helpful, you know, as individuals in getting up the site. And one of the things we're doing is we're going to host a UCL Enterprise Society site so that people can actually go in and see the UCL Enterprise information, which will be the first thing they see. But also, as you can see over here, just briefly, you can also access the Skeegle facilities. So, who have been the people that helped us? Well, I said that Tunde is the founder. I've sort of tried to pull people together. Joe has built a state-of-the-art social networking system. Okay. David Marsh is one of the top e-commerce lawyers in Europe, and Fabio is our systems architect. But we've had tremendous advice, which has been the great thing. And if I can use one example, a group of MBA students turned up from LBS and said they'd heard about Skeegle, and could they use it as a case study? And it was like getting in 5 top-rate consultants from Bain or Price Waterhouse, and they really ripped it apart. and produced a report. But it's just the sort of thing that we couldn't do at UCL, and I think it actually illustrated the great strength in actually linking with other universities. UCL Enterprise, we've had lots of discussions about the sort of features that you think that we should put in it. And the good thing is, because it's our code, we can actually change it and put these things in. So David, Jack, Lorenzo, thank you very much. Also, their equivalents over at LBS have been extremely helpful. And the nice thing is, whereas I think, as some of the other speakers said, UCL's good at the technology, we're not so good often at the execution, although I think the UCL Enterprise Society has shown the difference. But the LBS students are very good at execution, business models and things like that. And then we've had very good support, from UCL Business, and particularly from Marina, who has actually started her own company, her own Web 2.0 company, and she's been very helpful in helping us with the design. And lastly, Peter, thank you very much for linking us to LBS. Now, what we discovered, and what we're trying to do, is to actually build a sort of London site. So whereas UCL Advances is trying to reach into UCL, we're going to try and reach out and involve UCL LBS, but we'd also like to involve King's, Birkbeck, and the others. But perhaps the more interesting, and I'm now putting my academic hat on, is we are also talking to companies about trying to put a Skeegle-like environment inside the company so that they can actually get the staff to actually identify new ideas. Because one of the problems is that most Western companies live on new ideas. How do they actually identify the good ideas and percolate them up and invest in them? And the interesting thing we found by talking to this diverse group of people is that the mechanisms needed by companies over here are very similar to the ones that we need here, because you're trying to look for people that are clearly got a winning idea, and then you can pass it on to UCL to support. And so what is the big problem? Often for most entrepreneurs, it's not money. It's actually finding people to do things you can't do. And therefore, young entrepreneurs, excellent source of ideas, but they need to learn about entrepreneurship. You need to grow. And what I found in the past is when we've taken large sums of venture capital money, it's often been a killer rather than a help. And the other thing is that VCs want to see traction. They want to see something implemented before they do it. So we've got an amazing talent pool, here at UCL and in the other universities. What you're doing and what we're trying to explore is that with Skeegle, how can we actually harness this? So we've had Skeegle 1. This has been tested with students at UCL and LBS, postgraduate students, thanks to Peter. Skeegle 2 has been used by, I think, over 150 undergraduates to find partners, and we're now on to Skeegle 3, which is what I've shown you, where we're trying to actually support all the sort of functions that you'd expect in a standard social networking site.